Hey everybody, my name is Matt and I'm the creator over at webgamesetcetera.com, and I am catching up with you after a bit of time out of the YouTube channel. I just got done uploading all of my video series for the new Wizard of Ooze game, which was my first game demo. And now I am following up the third part of a little diary series that I'm doing on this game development. Which has a working title of Maxus, Blume, Constable, Jackmage. You can see I've worked out already just a work in progress title screen here. And I've already done some work in progress window treatment. You can see I've got the elements that, are pretty much universally accepted now in these fantasy-based games. Water into fire, fire into ice, ice into wind, wind into earth, earth into lightning, lightning into water. So those are the elements, and rotating clockwise, that's the direction around the little circles in my window treatment. I've got a new font loaded, and I'm going to come up here into New Game to show you just a couple little things I've been working on. Maxus Blume, there's his character as has been rendered out of the character generation that comes default with MV. And I am using a little character sprite that came with an extra DC pack that I bought to kind of nail down a little bit of look and feel. And then they are being followed by a new character that I'm creating just for this specific title, this franchise. He's that staff in the background. I haven't given his animation any kind of a little bob yet, but I have given it the different positions for being able to walk around. And that character becomes relevant when you are in combat, because even though he is his equipped wizard staff, he actually functions as his own independent character. So that's a little spin, and I enjoyed drawing all of the different frames of animation for him for the side view combat and for running around. For right now, I've got this robot up here. He's kind of a placement. He's a placeholder. He's FPO. He's for placement only. I don't know if he'll actually be the finished robot manservant. In fact, I'm inclined to say he's not going to be the finished robot manservant. But he looks good enough right now, along with the color palette, that he'll do the job while I'm just kind of in development here and nailing down the style and the look and feel. He's going to be good enough for what we need him for. And then I am using these spinning crystals. That's completely custom graphics. That's all original. I'm using these spinning crystals to represent doors in different configurations. I've got kind of that little teleport animation that takes us in and out of a door. And the doors have different uses, and they have different iconography for those uses. So that door leads me in and out of Maxus's condo. At this point, all I have built out is the study. Probably, in future games, future campaigns, more of his condo would be revealed. Then you can come down the street here to this door crystal and go visit Smitty, the metalsmith. And I have gone ahead and reworked this background to scale. If you've been following along with this series, you saw earlier renditions of this background. This is now set up for this new size and resolution, and I'm gonna probably rework the little barrel and the anvil there and his movements, and add some sound effects to him sloshing stuff and banging stuff and hammering stuff. So these crystals specifically are in and outdoors of rooms that are adjoined. Then I've got this one down here with the spinning obelisk with the orbiting spheres, and that is indicative of a doorway or a passage where it's two land maps that are adjacent. And here you get to see for the first time my solution to outside world maps. And I've decided that the solution to outside world maps more often than not is going to be 2D top-down, just because I like the look and style better than that faux 3D that is two sprites tall. And I just don't like that perspective, specifically for this game, especially for the look and feel. And then I created this dock map based off of a dock map from 2 Minute Maps. Let's see if I can hold on just 1 second and pull up. You probably know already who I am talking about. These maps look fantastic. And I was trying 2 Minute Tabletop. I was trying to find some sort of solution to a top-down map that I would like, and I saw this guy's artwork, and he makes these maps available for downloads for tabletop gaming. He takes contribution, or you can do it for free. And he had a dock map that I really liked. And so without blatantly copying it, I flipped it, and I kind of decided what I needed from it, and I took inspiration from how he drew his planks. And I went into Photoshop, and I drew every single bit of these as objects that I then shaded and textured. And I ended up going through and making, little variances in every single wood plank. Every single wood plank is its own vector object. Every single wood plank, the ocean is about 5 or 6 layers of different stock ocean photos and different blues. And piece by piece, using the inspiration of the 2 Minute Tabletop map, I spent the evening and I drew out this dock map. And I'm pretty happy with the way it looks, and I'm happy with the way it presents as a solution to the running around the world maps, different land area maps. On this map, I have featured some of these little animations that I've made for little shimmies. Whenever you're looking for clues, whenever you're looking for stuff to investigate, whenever there's a little fairy that's available to give you one of your Jackmage cards, one of these little sparkles is available for you to go and investigate. And once you realize and become accustomed to the iconography, you know that this little spinning crystal right here is a door to go into this warehouse. Once I go into the warehouse, I go back into party formation. You're running around with all the characters, depending on the mission. So that's Maxus, and that's Chloe LaRue, and that's Horace, the wizard staff. And there'll be those little sparkles around here, and there'll be some things for you to investigate. And back in here, I have got my very first combat example. Guys, there's someone back here, or something, some crocomans. So once again, I try to stay faithful to keeping my battle backs unique to the layout. Let me turn down. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Let me turn down that combat background music. I'm just using that from my previous game. It's just placeholding. I plan on doing some more original music for all of the soundtrack for this. But for now, I've just got this placeholding so that there's something when I'm sitting here banging away on it. So now we can see that Horace the staff has got his own little kind of standing animation when he's in combat. And the way I'm going to run my Jackmage is he is going to have his spells come to him as cards. So they're going to be found here under items. For right now, I have just stocked the tank with everything because I am also working on custom spell animations. If you've been keeping up with RPG Maker MZ, you know that spell animations are going to be under the new Effexor, I think that's called. I have downloaded that. Effexor. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's EFFEKSEER, Effexor. The new MZ engine is going to be using this, and it's cool in that it's flare-driven, vector-driven, sparkle-driven. What are they calling that? I'm going to look it up and paste it up here on the screen right now. But it's also not cool in that framed animation and any kind of imagery that you may have become accustomed to doing in previous animations, you're just not going to have at all. They didn't include it. It's not a this and this. It is now just completely effects here, and you only got that option. And it's also it's a little bit difficult. There's a little bit of a learning curve. I'm not going to say it's super duper hard. They've certainly made that kind of thing as easy as possible for rendering effects. But it's still going to be more difficult than what was before it. But let's roll through right now and look at some of the animations that I've tried to create. I'm going to go in with all original animations. So let's demonstrate a couple of things that I've come up with. First, just by using Flash and by, let's see here, let's see what we got here. Just by using Flash and exporting to an animation, I've created that. Now those are effects here. The spell cast, that was effects here. Those are old default animations. That's a Flash animation. And then in each round of combat, the Jackmage gets a card drop from the card fairy. And that is how he develops his spells. So you come here into item, you see this card is here. He's constantly getting card drops that are random. You have to use the card that is most appropriate for the time. And that's just a way that I was going to try to make this game a little bit different than the norm. And then, of course, Horace the Staff has got his collection of wizard spells that are unique to him. So there's a Flash animation that I created as an original animation. Here is Fire Missile. I created that from effects here. Here is a card for fire missiles. So now the Jackmage has the ability to cast this fire missile spell, and that's a one-off, and that item gets used as he uses it. That spark is a default spell. We'll just have Chloe sit it out for a moment. And then let's see, what else have we got? We've got the fire missile, the mojo missiles, curing blast. So I have just begun. Oh, slicing wind. Here is a original Flash animation. So fire missile, that's the effects here engine. Just learning how to utilize that. There's the slicing wind. That's a Flash animation. And it's the end of the round. Actually, that's the end of combat, and I've also got a card drop for the end of combat. So there'll be different ways to get cards. You'll be able to gamble for them. You'll be able to you'll get them in rounds of combat and at the end of combat. These little sparkly manifestations, it may be a clue, or it may be a fairy drop giving you a card. So there's several ways to collect the cards. Of course, a lot of this is going to tie into a story-driven campaign, and I didn't want that to get too linear, and I wanted it to have some replayability, even as I just keep adding quest lines as I go. So my ideas are that the Jackmage is always dependent upon what card he's going to get next. Of course, this isn't a hugely original trope. Magic the Gathering is huge, and there's tons and tons of card spawn games off of that. So for this character, that's his specific magic manifestation, whereas, wizards channel magic, or I don't know, whichever way you say it. Wizards channel magic, mages have spells, Jackmages have these manifested scripts, which take the form of cards, and that's how he runs his magic. So to keep things different, he's always going to be dealing with a different deck of cards, whatever he's got from whatever drops have happened. And then changing up the party with these different sentient weapons. Horus, the wizard maze, being the first, wizard's staff being the first one. The next character to introduce is going to be a singing sword. And then the Jackmage here, Maxus, will often work with and get counsel from Smitty, the metalsmith. He'll most frequently be working with his little partner, Chloe LaRue, who is a notary, and she'll have her own set of combat skills. And they'll go on big adventures, one of which that I have staged is this floating cathedral. And this little map legend kind of icon. So this will represent places that you can go all over the map that are not necessarily adjacent to the land mass that you're standing in right this moment. So whereas, this street, which is Rafferty Street, this street eventually goes down to the docks. So this icon is a connection to a landmass that's adjacent. This is an icon that says, hey, you're going to access the different locations on a global map that you can go to. And for right now, I've just got that staged as this floating cathedral. This is the starting point of a small, 3-level kind of dungeon that's going to be, at the end, it's going to have an objective for one of the first campaign stories for rolling out the game, just for people to play with it and see if they like it. All of these little things have been original graphics that I've created either from stock photography or just from rendering them myself in Photoshop. All of the mobs that I've used so far are for placement only. I am once again using Thalzon MV side battlers just because I like them the best. He's got the most amount of variety and he's got the best looking ones. This is his vampire character, and I've kind of tweaked it a little bit to be my Crocoman. So there you go. I don't know if that's what... Oh, unable to escape. Well, how about that? I've got different colors and different postures for Horus, the wizard's staff. You can see where he's escaping there. He turns around and his little ethereal portal there turns yellow, and when he took damage just now, it's red. And when he is casting a spell, let's see here, now that I've talked through this and kind of driven these guys into a ditch, let's see what I can do here. Let's use Fire Missile for a pretty good hit. Chloe doesn't have any first aid anymore, but I'm going to go ahead and use the default Spark, and let's see if Horus can use Curing Blast to take care of Maxus. So you see there, when the staff is going to cast a spell, he's got that little bit of mana floating in front of him that he's concentrating on. When he takes damage, he turns red. When he casts that spell, his mouth opens up as if he's vocalizing. So I drew all those little animations in there. And for these card backs, I made 6 standard card backs for each element, and those are just quick original clip arts. And for the card fairy, I pulled a goth dress-up picture from Pixabay. There's so much stock photography out there that you can just really move through a lot of your setting up your content without it being all the default stuff, and with giving it a little bit of a look of originality. So once again, let's do the Bubble Thunder. That's got an original animation. Let's have her attack, and let's have Horus do a bigger Kalini. Healing Mojo, Curing Blast 75, Restore Body. How low is he? Ooh. Okay, let's not mess around. Let's restore his body so we can get his healing up. The little round cylinder, when they cast the spell, I developed that off of tweaking the Effexir tutorial. Colored it blue and kind of gave it some expansion. There are still a couple of default animations in here. I've just been just been very recently learning the effects here. You know, in the MZ, you're going to have the Effectsier engine built into the game, and you're going to be able to affect those particle effects. You're going to be able to control those in the game engine. In this case, I'm using Effectsier, and I'm creating an animation, and then I'm using the export to animated GIF function, and I'm cutting up the animated GIF, and I'm using it in MV. So there's a little bit of learning how to get that translation to work. Let's go do Curing Blast. Wow, everybody's hurting pretty good. Made this guy a little bit too tough for game testing, I guess. But anyway, that is the idea. I just wanted you to see a little bit of progress has been made for sure. And I'm going to go through and really get the spell system built out and get the card drops built out, and just start getting that first campaign and that first storyline laid out, so that, you know, not all of the world will be built out, and not all the game mechanics will be built out, but enough of just the gameplay requirements will be built out to see, you know, hey, is this as fun as I think it is? Is this something that, you know, each and every time feels a little bit different? And it's going to rely a lot on each campaign standing alone as its own story, and the dialogue between the characters, and having a lot of fun with that. So that is diary entry number 3 for this working title, Maxus Blume, Constable Jackmage. Thanks for checking out the video. It's my own little corner of the world. I'm not trying to be some kind of YouTube superstar. It's just some place for me to document what I'm doing and have some accountability for my progress and spread the word a little bit on what my little projects are. I just do this as a hobby in my own spare time. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I will get something posted when I make some more progress. Thanks for playing. Have fun online. We'll see yous. Bye.